Hi. Good evening. My name is Jay Shelfer, and I'm the president of the PAC board. This is the monthly meeting of the PAC board here at Marin Valley Mobile Country Club. And I'd like to introduce the members. First of all, our vice president, John Hanson.
That's me, John Hanson here, and Carol Joy Harris, our secretary.
Hi, secretary.
And our financial person is Steve Plosher. And our standing, how would we refer to Nikki?
Member at large.
At large member, Nikki Waddell. Okay, I would like therefore to go forward and ask for approval of the final agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
I second.
Seeing no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
So 5. And moving on to public comment, which I'd like to ask you to limit to 3 minutes. Carol Joy?
I'd like to start by just announcing that unfortunately, I, as of this morning, am testing positive for COVID. And so this is a perfect example of why we are still meeting via Zoom. Someone asked last month, why we're doing this. And this is why. We're still in a pandemic. I am able, as a board member, or as anybody who is interested, to attend via Zoom. However, if we were meeting in person, I would, for the safety of others, I would not attend. So I just wanted to put that forward.
Thank you, Carol Joy. John, do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah, we're in the middle of a heat wave right now, a heat dome actually, and yeah, just it's like a pressure cooker. But yeah, I just wanted to say that we're fortunate to have started the meeting, but we may not be so fortunate to end the meeting. So if in case we have a blackout that happens sometime during this meeting, I sent an email out initially about an hour or so ago suggesting that we meet at the clubhouse, but just as Carol Joy has pointed out, it's probably better that we don't, although we may there anyway, because that's where the AC is going to be if there's a blackout. So I would suggest right now that rather than continuing the meeting in person at the clubhouse, that we schedule another time to complete the meeting if necessary, and do that by Zoom.
Oh, thank you, John. Okay, I see Ed Collins ready to give us a public comment. So I'll call on Edward Collins.
Unmute yourself, Ed.
You got to unmute yourself.
Or do hand signals, one or the other.
Yeah, I'll do hand signals. All right. My name is Ed Collins. I live at 135 Sunrise Lane. And I'm talking about 10 minutes, which seems a little trivial, but there's a handful of us that use the pool late in the evening, about 3 or 4 of us, and the pool's supposed to be open until 10 o'clock. Now, if you stay until 10 o'clock, you're going to get screamed at by this announcement saying that, and I don't know if you've heard it, but it's really kind of harsh. Warning, warning, you are trespassing. And I've been trying to get Matt to, Matt said that he put that announcement in at the PAC board's meeting. That's why I'm here. What could solve the problem is to just have the announcements go off at 10:10. Now, Matt says that means people are going to want to stay till 10:20, but that's not true because there's hardly ever anybody there. If you look at most places, when the stores close at 10, they say the store is closed. Please check out and leave. You know, sometimes I'm relaxing, sometimes I'm talking, sometimes I'm swimming. When the light goes out, I start getting up, and within a minute, I get screamed at. So I would like that thing to get moved back to 10:10. Matt doesn't seem to be amenable to doing that, so I would like to. I don't know if the board can help him make that decision. That would solve the problem, just moving it back. But also, it has started happening that not only does I get screened by the announcement, but shortly after, within 60 seconds, someone comes on live and says, we are now calling the police. Please leave. And that happens like at 10:02. And to me, that needs to get changed. So that's one issue. I have another time issue. I'm thinking of starting up first Friday game night again. And for a year and a half before COVID, we had it first Friday game night. And when the clubhouse closed at 10, if we were in the middle of a game, we played until the game was over and then we left. And there was no problem. I think that's probably because the Twins were locking it up, but now we have a guard. He comes in and says, you have to leave. And I don't know if that can get changed so that if we're in there playing a game, we can finish our game and then leave, because the doors get closed. No one new can come in. So I don't know. I'd rather not start at 6 o'clock so we can get our games in and finish. But those are my two issues, both time related. The pool is the main one. I don't know if you guys can do something about that.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment?
Ellen Jane.
All right, Ellen, I see your hand up. Please.
Yes. Thank you. I don't see energy usage on the agenda, PG&E use and energy use. So I guess I have to speak up now, right? The agenda was formulated without that. There's water reports, but no energy usage, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess you all got that emergency alert on your phones, or some of you did, about turning your air conditioner off or up, changing it to 78, which is what they recommend all the time to save energy. And I'm, same old story. It feels like nobody else cares about conserving energy. This is a bunch of, I don't know, we're a bunch of entitled people that are just going to put the air conditioner where it is, what suits us. And I would like it, I don't know, maybe bring it up next month, put it on the agenda. Because, repeatedly, I don't live close enough to go in there every night and check it, but repeatedly when I'm down there 9 o'clock or so, I turn off the air conditioning in both rooms. I can't do anything about it in the ballroom. And I was there Friday night and all 4 of them were going in the ballroom. They just go all night. So it kind of breaks my heart that nobody cares. And then, turning lights off, we're asked to turn lights off. The men's room light is always on. I always turn it off when I'm there. And I'm sorry for, repeating it, but I saw Matt leaving one day and he goes in the men's room and he comes out and he leaves the light on when I had just turned it off. So people do what they're going to do, but I don't know how to emphasize how important energy usage is, and that the more we jump in our cars and travel and stuff, they're drilling for oil and everybody's like, oh, save the environment. But then.
So Ellen Jane, are you suggesting that we agendize energy usage on our next meeting?
Sure, if nobody, because you can't reply to what
Okay.
I'm saying now. So yeah, please do that. And meanwhile, another month of wasted, air conditioning on all night when I'm not there to turn it off. Yeah, so you've heard me before. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any? Oh, Ed Collins again.
Yeah, so I just have a question. Now that I brought up my concern about this to the board, what next step should I take to see that? Should I have this put on the agenda? Or, I don't know. What is there another step I can take to see if I can somehow have this happen? It's a pretty simple thing to move the announcement back 10 minutes.
Well, I think what you have to do is continue to discuss it with Matt. Does someone else have something else that's on? Because I get a lot of feedback. There seems to be someone else.
That's usually Steve's computer for some reason. His brand is not compatible with us.
Yeah, so Ed, I think you have to discuss it with Matt. Basically, Matt is involved in the management of the clubhouse. I mean, we certainly obviously are going to talk from time to Matt, but it's a management problem. It's not a PAC board issue necessarily. But if it is brought up to us as you have, we'll mention it to Matt. And I think are you saying you've never talked to Matt about this, or he hasn't?
I'm saying I'm coming to you because I've been going around in circles with Matt. And he doesn't like the idea of moving it back 10 minutes because then people are going to be wanting to stay there till 10:30, which is, first of all, it's a red herring because you're creating a problem that's not really real. And I know
I appreciate it. Let's not try to discuss this issue. Let's see if we can resolve it with Matt over the month, and then
right. That's why I came to you, because I haven't gotten anywhere with Matt.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So not seeing any other public comment, I'd like to move forward to approving the minutes of the August 2nd meeting, which we have received and reviewed.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Carol Joy. Any comments on the minutes? Call for approval of the minutes of August 2nd.
It's already done that. We just need to vote on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling for a vote on the.
Okay.
All right.
Steve, okay. So it was 5-0.
I think 478796 may be our recording secretary, but we'll see. So moving on to reports, management and capital projects. Matt isn't able to be here tonight, so he listed what he's been working on over the past month, and basically it is ongoing work is retaining walls. A concrete wall is in progress currently. And there is further a placement of a drainage system underneath one driveway. And 3 driveways are in the process of having, excuse me. 3 driveways are in the process of having concrete repairs, and 1 driveway is being replaced. Going on, fire abatement from 22 View Ridge to 137 Marin Valley Drive, 100-foot defensible space total cleanup of all debris, including poison oak and tree care or removal. So apparently that's been complete. John, you're in that area. Does that, the work seems to have stopped up there, right?
Yeah, I think the tree work is done for the time being.
Okay. And then his water report, based on water consumption over the past month compared to last month, the differential is that we're using approximately, not approximately, but exactly 4.78% less water this year. So we're using a little bit more than the previous months, but presumably that's understandable with the hot weather. And if we have any other questions for Matt, maybe you can put them out right now and I'll pass them on to Matt when I visit with him. Seeing none, why don't we move on to the track pressure report from Steve.
Okay. Petty cash balance is still the same as before, $2,725. We just started a new year. July was our first month of the new year. Well, August is finished also, but we're always a month behind. So this report will all be about July. And our annual budget is $4,000, and for the month of July, we only spent $191. DSCR calculation, it turns out to be 0.94, which is quite low, but the thing is, just like last year, during the month of July, Matt spent a very large part of our annual budget on tree maintenance and fire abatement budgets. So instead of the budgeted amount of 22,000, we spent 106,000. If I make adjustments for that, the DSCR turns out to be 2.48. 2.48. So we're in good shape, assuming that we don't spend 106,000 every month.
Right.
So we're okay.
Excuse me, are you saying he spent 106,000 out of 122 for that line item?
No,
I misunderstood.
106,000 instead of the budgeted 22,000 per month.
22,000 per month. Thank you.
Yes. So, instead of spreading it out all year, it's got squished together into 1 month.
Thank you.
And so, but he always stays on budget. So we can count on that, and we can count on the DCR coming back to normal. End of report.
Steve, the emphasis on the DSR basically is a little overblown in the sense that it's only looked at by the lender at the end of the fiscal year.
That's
So
correct.
as long as the DSR constricts is observed over the course of the year, at the end of the year, we're in good shape in terms of what the bank loan is about. Let me just turn this little puppy out here. Any other questions? Seeing none, let's go on to the 2x2. Carol Joy and Jay Shelfer. One of our main contacts with the city, Kate Wan, has retired, and we're in the process, or they're in the process of hiring a new person. So in the course of the next month, we're hopeful that a new person will be hired so that we will have a presence to discuss these matters or our concerns with the city. Chris Blanc obviously is available whenever we actually need to talk with him. And I don't really have anything to add this month. And again, if there's any park issues or MVMCC issues, please contact myself or Carol Joy so we can enumerate them at the next meeting. Carol, do you have anything?
Carol Joy. Yes, I have a question. Jay, you may know, there was supposed to be a meeting during August, it's now September, between Matt and Kate Wan before she left about the rules and regulations. Do you know if that occurred?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'll just find out from Matt because that was the next step. So hopefully that,
It's moving along, hopefully.
we'll see.
Okay. And then the next item on reports is project planning, myself and John Hanson. Do you have a comment about that, John?
Well, the only thing I can really say about that right now is that new project planning is not the first domino in the row. And the first one is up to the city, hasn't fallen yet.
Yeah, and adding to that, we do have a lot of issues that we'd like to move forward on and discuss with the city. The problem is that the city is in the process of developing a report based on academically how much reserves we need to have on our balance sheets before we consider new projects. And those new projects include paying off the bank loan, and those new projects include redoing the roof and putting solar on the roof of the clubhouse, and many other projects that we're really concerned with. So we're hoping that that report and the analysis of that is going to be forthcoming in the next months, and then we'll be able to start planning. And moving on now to MVest and Firewise. John Hanson.
Okay, yeah, our monthly MVS meeting will be next Monday on the 12th at 5 o'clock. Everybody's welcome to join. If you're not on our mailing list, let me know and I will make sure you get on there. Let's see, what we've been doing for the last couple of months is more work out to committee. And so we have committees working on developing emergency management plans on a number of different different issues or different types of emergencies that may arise. And actually what we're working on right now, there's two of them. We're working on the high heat emergency management plan, which is timely, if not a week late. Hopefully we'll have that. It's a simple plan, really, and it's nothing we can't implement in the meantime. And it's all very straightforward. And the other plan is dense smoke, coming up in. Well, let's see. October is really the month. That's when we get the Diablo winds. And that's when we get red flag days predominantly is in October. And that's also when we get the most major fires in Northern California. There's more in October. The second month is August, which we've already passed. So coming up in October is when we really want to have that dense smoke emergency protocol together, and we will probably have to implement it then. And otherwise, I just checked there's nothing new, so we're probably going to make it through this meeting. There's nothing new in terms of power shutoff. So anyway, that's my report for this evening.
John, could you comment a little bit on how residents who are suffering with heat might be able to use the clubhouse to escape it if they don't have air conditioning, and what they can do in their homes?
Sure. Well, I can say that the draft plan that we have right now coming out of committee to the coming out of committee to the steering committee for approval, basically just says that we will arrange to have the clubhouse open as long as there's a power out, as long as there's a high heat event, more day and night, and as long as there is a intense smoke event, so that people will be able to go to the clubhouse. If it's hot, like today, if the power goes out, the generator goes on, and there's power then to run the heat pumps and the AC in there. Then we also have HEPA filters on all of the heat pumps and HVAC units in the clubhouse, so that we have good cleaned air there going all the time in case there's high smoke. And then for those who don't have air conditioning or some other heat mitigating measures in their home, then the clubhouses then will always be open. So those are really the main things that we've done to make that. There's a few other things too, like making sure that we have all the ACs are in good operating condition, making sure that we have plenty of drinking water and ice available, and making sure that we have N95 masks to hand out to people that need it. And then there's other things like our mitigating measures have more to do with education of people. And so our plan says, it's going to say basically when those mitigation measures would be effective to have the greatest effect on people understanding what they are and what they need to do. So in a loose nutshell, that's sort of what. And there's one other thing too that, like right now, if the power were to go out, people can use, a towel, just a wet towel. Wet it, wrap it around your neck. You can stay cool that way. Wave in the air a little bit because the humidity is way down. Evaporation is way up that way. And then wear it, put it over your head, and it'll help a lot to keep you cool. And the other thing is if the power doesn't go out, and if you don't have an AC. If you have a humidifier, then the humidification of the air with the evaporation of the water to increase the humidity absorbs a lot of heat out of the air too. So there's a number of things that people can do to cool off if they need to.
Now, John, excuse me, Carol Joy. They talk about the time between 4 and 7 being so critical. Can you explain why that is such a critical time?
Well, yeah, it's actually between 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And part of it is that this time of year, our hydropower generation is already low. Solar begins to diminish at about 4 o'clock. And, wind, if there's any wind out there right now, and until October, when we have, wind events along with the heat, then we're probably not going to have much power generation from wind. So what that leaves us with primarily is the PG&E, the topper plants that they have to start up. It takes about 2 or 3 hours to get them going. So the power use as homes warm up during the day, it takes a long time for them to cool off at night. So people will generally have their ACs on from 4 o'clock until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So that's when the major power is going to be used. Also, that's when people come home from work and turn their ACs on. So anyway, that's when major power is used, and that's when we have to be extra careful with our own power use.
How much solar is actually going into the grid in California?
Right now, renewables, predominantly solar right now is about 17%. Not too bad, for most states, but for California, that's pretty good.
So 17% of the power available goes off basically when the sun starts to go down at 4 o'clock. So that's a major contributor to the crisis.
That's right. And the other thing, another contributor to power in the state is battery power. Some of the topper plants, like at Moss Landing, is made from power cells. They're actually batteries about the size of a cargo container that are out in the field there, so that when the power needs a boost, then they can tie into those batteries. And another very interesting thing is this is all pretty much software generated, but there are thousands of people in California with Tesla Powerwalls. Many of them are connected to solar, to rooftop solar. And there's a virtual power plant program that 20,000 people have signed up for so far. And that was over a week ago. I haven't heard what it is since, but it was going on crazy. It might be more than that right now, but people that will donate some of their Tesla Powerwall power to the grid. And so this is software managed and managed through an app. And it can make a huge difference. It's several megawatts actually of power that's generated that way. That's something that's coming along. It was brainstormed really in Australia, and it's worked very nicely in Australia on a number of occasions. So anyway, starting here, and hopefully that will continue to grow.
Carol Joy Harris, you had a comment?
Yeah, I have a couple. Number one, when John was talking about the things that people can do, I just wanted to add one more thing, and that is that if you have the ability to get to the clubhouse, there's the mister in the breezeway, which you can just turn it on and it will mist you. And it uses water, but it's not that much water, and it can really help if you happen to be at or near the clubhouse. The other thing I want to just say is that when John was talking about between 4 to 9, imagine all the people who still are coming home from work right then, or even if they're not coming home from work. Say someone comes home and comes home from work, turns on the air conditioner, turns on the television, turns on the stove to start cooking, turns on the light to go into the room where they've got it darkened because they're trying to keep it cool, all these little things. And so you just think, oh, that's not that important. But imagine, there's 40 million people in this state. And imagine if half of them are coming home from work and doing that. People cook, they cook dinner for their kids or themselves. And so all those little things, or maybe they have to do their washing and they're not able to not turn their washing machine on until 9 o'clock that night because they can't stay up until 11 and take the wash out. I mean, all those tiny little things, all those people who are doing that right between 4 and 9 p.m., that adds up. So I just wanted to say that in addition to what John said, and that as Ellen Jane has said, we as individuals need to be cognizant of every single light we leave on, every appliance we leave plugged in, every degree of our air conditioner. It all matters and adds up. And so, let's do our part. That's all.
Yeah, 1 million people, just 1 million people times 1,000 watts. That's that's a megawatt of 1,000 megawatts of power, which is 1 gigawatt. That's a lot of power.
Right. So between 4 and 9, I mean, just think about it. This is when people come home and do their evening thing. And we're all just so used to power. We don't even think about walking into a room and turning on the light or cooking or whatever it is. So.
Well, that's right. And, that's our power use. We use thousands of watts, a day, many thousands. The average nationwide for power usage, or not worldwide, for electrical power usage is 2,000 watts per person per day. Imagine trying to live on 2,000 watts.
Right. It's a lot more in our country where we use 25% of the world's resources. So
not me.
The United States uses 25% of resources. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Not contradicting you, honey. I'm just being silly.
Okay.
Okay, so perhaps we can move on and ask HOL if we can have a report from John Feld.
You're muted, Irma.
You're muted, Irma.
You can have a report from John Feld through Irma Wheatley. There are a few events happening in September. One is the biography night, which was not in the recent Echo, but it was in the previous Echo, and that's going to be on Thursday, September 15th at 6:30. Kamala Allen will be speaking. And there won't be a Circle of Friends meeting this month, but they'll meet next month. Anisha is out of town. And the Breezeway Craft Market will be on October 1st, Saturday from 1 to 4. And also, with an abundance of caution, HOL will meet on Zoom this month, tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Good idea. Thank you, Irma. And Carolyn Corey for Marvell. Can you unmute yourself, Carolyn? Vicky, are you going to speak for HOL? I mean, for Marvell?
You're muted.
You're muted as well.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Okay, I didn't receive a report, but I'll ad lib. Okay. I heard last night, good news that the bar is being refurbished. That's great. I think that thing is like 18, 20 years old. And the cabinets are being redone. So there'll be some paint smells and dust for a couple of days, but It's all for a good cause. Also, I know that they have a Oktoberfest is planned for September 23rd. Cocktails at 5, dinner at 5:30. The price is $10 and the deadline is September 19th. And that's all I have for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. So there is no old business, there's no new business, and what remains is to acknowledge that we would like to have the next PAC board meeting on October 4th at 6 p.m. Will everyone be available for that? Okay, I see everyone nodding in agreement, so that's a good thing.
I would like to move to adjourn.
I'll second that
How
motion.
you jumped right in there. That was good. I like that.
I
Do we have
did
a
too. I'm
second?
seconding it.
Oh, we have a second from Vicky.
Yeah,
Any
it's a little.
discussion? No discussion. Oh, is that a discussion issue or an agreement? You're agreeing, Steve. Okay. So a call for adjournment. All right, 5-zip. Thank you all.